we're riding on a wave. That's my perception anyway, of people being able finally, sort of like a bear coming out of hibernation, to be critical of capital, to name the system we live in, to recognize that it has certain specific qualities, that it's not beyond or above criticism, and that it is okay to raise fundamental questions, to explore the strengths and weaknesses, to begin thinking about alternative systems without all the Cold War taboo that used to enshroud all of this. Is this an experience you're having? Is your program somehow connected to any of this as you see it?
I think so. I mean, there's still no shortage of wild allegations that I get about being, somebody who would like to see a return of sort of Soviet style. I mean, you've experienced the same thing, and particularly for me, as someone who considers myself a sort of Northern European social democrat, that's not been something I've advocated for. So there's no shortage of the reflexive anti-socialist, anti-communist stuff that continues to happen. But I think the reassuring part of it is that the conversations I'm having are being increasingly understood as advocating for what I'm actually advocating for, rather than immediately falling into this reflexive Red Scare stuff. And I think you see that in the data in terms of people's sort of general perception of terms like socialism in the United States, much less disfavorable, much more favorable. And it opens up the possibility of a spectrum of critiques of the system, critiques like you do, critiques like I do, and others.
Okay, that's wonderful. I wanted to get to that before we ended, and you helped me do that. The segue is perfect. Do you feel good that people are understanding that socialism, communism, and so on, that they associate with the Soviet Union or China or Vietnam or so on, is only one or a set of variants, and that Northern European or Scandinavian or whatever you want to call it, social democracy, is another set of ways of being critical, ways of imagining an alternative? Is that kind of ability to be critical with some nuance, do you see that evolving? Is that happening?
It is evolving, but it's pretty disappointingly slow. I mean, even still, I think that there's the degree, had it evolved more appropriately, associating Joe Biden with Venezuela would have been far more difficult over the last 6 months. In other words, I think we see the proof of its slow progress in that, particularly with the Cuban American community, and I'm very much involved. I do actually do a Spanish language program for a Spanish cable network, and I'm regularly hearing from these communities the ease with which the connection between Biden and Soviet-style governance or Venezuela was made and stuck for a lot of people shows me that while there is progress, it's certainly happening slowly.